These were troubled times for the United States. It was the height of the Great Depression, and thousands of people of Mexican ancestry, many of them American citizens, were being forcibly removed from the United States. It was directly or indirectly a result of President Hoover's Mexican Repatriation Act of the 1930s. While 82,000 were deported by federal authorities, the federal effort was joined by California. In Los Angeles, city and county pressure forced the removal of Mexican people, and the presence of federal agents in local operations had a, quote, tendency to scare many thousands out of this district, which is the intended result, unquote, said a letter from a Los Angeles County official in 1931. The result, up to 2 million people of Hispanic descent were put in trains and buses and sent to Mexico. It's estimated that almost 60% of those 2 million were actually United States citizens. It's a chapter of U.S. history that remains mostly hidden.
So we're going to line up.
Assemblymember Christina Garcia is hoping to change that.
I think it's very impactful, and it's our history, and I think it's it's a shame that that's a part of our American history, but it's something that we should be telling.
Garcia has introduced Assembly Bill 146. The bill would require the State Board of Education to ensure that the study of the Mexican repatriation be included when the curriculum frameworks for history and social science are revised starting in 2016.
And I think the kids should know.
AB 146 is the result of the work of Miss Leslie Hyatt's 5th grade class at Bell Gardens Elementary School in Garcia's district. They're the winners of her There Ought to Be a Law contest.
Their initial conversation was them asking me to ask the president for an apology. There's never been a formal apology from our U.S. government. And I quickly told them that I didn't have that access, but we started talking about their project, and they did presentations, and then they shared how hard it was to get that information and how that should be readily available to all the students out there across California.
I want this in our history textbooks because we don't want this injustice to happen again.
The students testified in support of the bill during a Capitol hearing.
Our history books discuss the migration of many people, including the Japanese Americans who were displaced in World War II. As we study further, we learned of the mass migration of Mexicans, which began in the 1930s. In our search, we were unable to find any information about the subject.
This era should be as important as many other movements marked on our textbooks today. Isn't the Mexican repatriation as important as the Chinese Exclusion Act, as the Japanese relocation, as the Bracero program, and as the Indian Removal Act? We know it is just as important.
As a result of the repatriations, families were forced to abandon their properties, which were often sold by authorities as payment for their removal expenses.
This is important to us because this happened to our ancestors, and we didn't think it was fair. We're also doing it for history not to repeat itself.
When we did our first letter to Barack Obama, it felt like nobody listened to us because he just handed us a picture of him and his dogs and everything. So he is more like, oh, thanks for writing to me letter, and not like he read the letter. So we didn't give up. We kept on trying, and we made it to the state capitol.
These folks who were repatriated, a lot of them are back in the United States and struggle to get back here, are our current day members. They are my tias, they're my uncles, son las abuelitas that we have here in our communities.
One of those deported was the father of the late Ray Rodriguez, author of Decade of Betrayal, a book focused on the repatriation.
My dad left in 1936. When I was 10, I never saw my dad again. How is anybody going to compensate me for that loss?
Rodriguez's book led to an official apology from California in 2005 and the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors in 2013. To date, no apology has been offered by the federal government. This report was produced by the Speaker's Office of Member Services.